Hi, this is another Facebook Live that I decided to do. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Barbara Dahm, and I'm the speech clinician who thinks a little differently about stuttering. So I've decided to do some videos to tell you what I think and why I think it. I hope that you'll join me for this one and for future videos. And also, you can write down some topics that you would like me to touch on and how they fit in with my perspective. So I hope all of you are comfortable and that the weather's not too cold where you are. I hear it was really cold in the Northeast last week, but I think it's warmed up a bit. So in any case, get yourself whatever you like to drink, coffee, tea, whatever, and come on and let's get to talking about the topic that we have for today, which is attention. Last week we talked about the topic of, to speak fluently, to learn to speak fluently, or to accept stuttering. And that really goes into today's topic, because if we're going to talk about making any changes, we have to know what changes we want to make. And I talked to you today about attention, because so many people think that what you have to do is try and be fluent, work on the speech. But what I think, and I bet you'll agree with me too, is where you put your attention has so much to do with how your speech is going to be. So just think of it for a minute. When do you stutter the most? When you're just talking and you sort of forgot you're talking? Or when you're in a situation and you want to talk really well? You want your speech to be fluent and you're thinking about how to do it and you're putting your attention on that. Which way is easier? There's another thing too. I want you to think about all these fluency enhancing conditions. Sometimes we say, oh, well, that was just because, I wasn't paying attention, so I could do it. Or that distracted me, so I didn't stutter because I was distracted. What? We're just going to poo-poo that and say, okay, so you were distracted. Well, maybe being distracted from that thing that you were paying attention to is something we have to pay attention to ourselves. Maybe that's a good thing. So I think that it is really important to think about these things and what does attention do to your speech. Think about it. And then think about where your attention is. Now, there are articles and research studies about attention. And for instance, there was one by Maxfield and others who say that adults who stutter, devote too many resources to the language formulation, to the way they're producing their language. And this is something that has been found to be true. So if you're a person who stutters, think about it. Where do you place your attention? And then you have to think, can you change where you place your attention? Well, first let's look at where you might put your attention. So when I'm speaking to you right now, I'm thinking, basically, my major thought here is, what do I want to get across to you today? What do I want you to know about? And, stick to the topic, Barbara, but if somebody comes in, and maybe somebody will come on and I'll see your name and it will grab my attention. So my thoughts will no longer be fluent and flowing on the topic I had in mind, but I'll be distracted. So I'll start thinking about something else. If I want to stick with my topic, that might interfere with my speaking. If I'm willing to go with where my thoughts are, then I could just keep on with the flow. But attention should be on the thoughts, where your thoughts are when you're speaking. So what do you want to get across? Do you want to just tell somebody you're hungry, you want to go out for dinner, or do you want to, maybe you're at work and you have a presentation you have to make? The important thing is to stick with your topic and not with the words that are going to be used by you to explain this topic. People don't put their attention on their words. And like that study that I mentioned just a minute ago, adults who stutter, devote too many resources to how they're going to develop their language. And it can go even further than that. I mean, maybe you're looking ahead to what you're going to say down the road a little bit because you believe that there are hard words to say, or you want to make sure that you avoid certain speech sounds. So not only are you concentrating on the words that you will say in a second, you're concentrating on the words you're going to say even after that. Or maybe you're concentrating on what you said and thinking, how did I say that? How did it come out? Was it fluent? Did it sound okay? So it could be that you put your attention on lots of different places. It's really important, and you can see, if you put your attention on your thoughts and forget about speaking, it's going to make a big difference. Now, I know that's hard, and that's really something that we work on during therapy. It's not something that you just change like that all of a sudden, because you've got so many thoughts and feelings connected to how am I going to speak, and fears. So, it does take time. But I want you all to know one thing, that you can change your point of attention. It's not something that you have to just pay attention to. Like, I look at videos of myself sometimes, I pay attention to those freckles, and I see them, and that's all I see is those freckles. But maybe some of you didn't even pay attention to that when you were looking at me. Or people that I know probably don't even see them anymore. But I pay attention to them, and they bother me. But that's where I put my attention. Well, of course, I've had to learn through the years not to be bothered by it. What is, and I'm not going to pay attention to it, because if I pay attention to it all the time, then it's going to make me feel badly. And so I just learned to negate that being so obsessed and thinking about it all the time. It's a lot of self-work. It's a lot of work inside not to be thinking about that thing that bothers you. But we do have choices. And that is what is important for you to remember. You have a choice whether you're going to do what you do when maybe you're alone, speaking aloud. Now, some people don't stutter when they're alone and speaking aloud. Some people do. But mostly people don't because they're not thinking so much about talking. And if you happen to be one of those people, sort of notice how your thoughts just flow when you're by yourself and what you do differently when you are talking to other people. At least pay attention to that little point. And then once you are aware of any changes that you make, then you could start working on yourself, helping yourself to see you're speaking in a different way, and maybe change your point of attention. It's really important. You know, people work on speech techniques and how to make the sounds and gentle onsets or speaking slowly, but they're still focused on how they're going to say the words. So that's why it's so hard. Those techniques don't really help because what is going on inside is your attention on the wrong thing. Instead of your thoughts, your attention is on how to speak. So, be aware that this is a very, very important factor. I'm telling you because I really, really care. I don't want you to be chasing after fluency that you're never going to get to because you're really focused on your speech fluency. I don't want you to be frustrated. I have really devoted every bit of my professional career, and sometimes my personal career life too, to figuring out this thing, what is stuttering. And I really want to get this across to you so that you can feel good about speaking, so that you can feel good when you want to just say something very mundane or the most important thing like at your wedding ceremony, whatever. I want you to be free to speak. And one of the things that's going to gain you so much freedom is putting your attention on your thoughts and not your speech. So, I don't know how many people are here watching me right now, but if you're watching this in video, just if you think that you put a lot of attention on your speech, give it a like. Let me know. Tell me where you put your attention. It will really help others as well as yourself to look at this issue. It's an important issue. Don't minimize it. Although the research is showing that this is true, what I'm saying is true, little is being done in the clinical area about how to change attention. Some work is today, some people work on mindfulness, some people do deal with that to a point. But I don't think that we're really grasping the absolute importance of changing your point of attention. So, if this speaks to you, please write in the comments below. And if you want to know more about this and other aspects of stuttering, you can even arrange a personal appointment with me. I'd be happy to see what you do when you stutter. I'll write down the link below to my calendar, and you can find a time that's convenient for you. We can talk about it. It is my desire to really help you. So take advantage of it. I have like over 3 decades of experience with this, and I've learned so much And so I want to share it with you. So be sure to schedule that appointment if you're interested in learning more and seeing how these things affect you. So it was really nice to be with all of you today, and all of you that are going to be seeing this video later, be sure and share it. And I'll be here next week to talk about another issue that's really important, which is the language and how we formulate it. If we're not going to pay too much of attention, what do we do? Stay tuned next week. I'll talk to you about that. Bye-bye for now.